What's going on? Gianna, what's poppin'? We got some stuff to talk about, especially this. We'll get over it in a second. I know a lot of you are looking at the Climate Prediction Center's 8 to 14 day, 3 to 4 week outlook and saying, well, that's the end of winter. I don't think so. We might just be having the most significant polar vortex disruption that we've had in years. Still lining up. I don't think so. I was saying I thought we could get a early to mid March snowstorm somewhere in the east, or even in the Ohio Valley, southeast or out east. And now I'm looking at it. Maybe it pushes back even late into March, which is crazy. Usually you're not going to get snow out near the coast or southeast late into March, but there's a bunch of cold air coming in March. Probably a little bit later than I thought. Probably not early March. Probably not early to mid March. Maybe mid to late March. But we're gonna go over that. Stratospheric polar vortex is looking pretty wild. Pretty wild. Yeah. Well, hey, that's what happens, Gianna, as we get towards the end of winter, towards spring. Bipolar weather here in the States. Yep. It is annoying. Do I remember how cold May was? What, last May? I don't know if I do. New York City, 3 to 5 inches Thursday possible? I guess so. I don't know. It's not looking great. Let's go into here's the national blend. National blend is giving you maybe an inch and a half on Thursday. We'll see. The European doesn't think anything's going to happen, really. The GFS does. Hey, the GFS just won this last storm. I guess we can have some confidence in it, right? Told you guys, it always comes back around. GFS almost didn't change its kind of nor'easter look for like 5 days straight. It just held on to it. It doubled down, tripled down, quadrupled down. All right. Well, I think we got some people in here, so let's get started. Listen. Let's push out 10 days. Here's our national blend. 10 days out. What are we looking at? Well, wouldn't that be interesting? Well, isn't that an interesting target area for 10 days out, for the next 10 days of snow on the national blend? Maybe a little bit back up here into the upper Midwest too. Not a bad look. A little bit of snow in the Rockies. Not a bad look. Now, the Climate Prediction Center is going to show you this. 8 to 14 day temperature outlook. 3 to 4 week temperature outlook. Careful. Here's our 6 to 10 day. Careful here. We're going to talk about why. Well, maybe that is the 8 to 14. Maybe the beginning of the 3 to 4 week. Something significant's happening in the stratosphere right now, though. In the North Pole. The reason I'm exhausted, and this isn't going to be a terribly long stream, maybe 45 minutes to an hour max. I just am extremely busy this week with work. I have to get up at like 5 a.m. tomorrow and get to work early. My other job's going great. Things are going really good, but it's draining my resources and my time. So I was like, oh, I don't know if I can make a video tomorrow morning. I'm just so strained with time. So I was like, let me get on tonight then and talk to everyone. Maybe I can clip part of this out for my video. Anyways. So here we go. 6 to 10 day forecast, 8 to 14 day forecast, 3 to 4 week forecast. Looks like it's getting very warm as we move into March, and it's going to stay warm. Again, Not so fast. We're going to talk about why here. Let's first take a look at this. Let's take a look at this. Now, this is just our operational control run of the Euro, but we've already had disruption up in the stratospheric polar vortex going on. Our stratospheric polar vortex winds are slow already, and they're going to try. It's going to try to get itself together. You can see those higher heights. That warmth is going to try to push out, and it's not going to work. Not according to the Euro. Not according to most global models. And this, to me, and now look, we're 200 hours out, but when we're talking about, you know, not local forecasting, but climatological stuff, a bigger scale stuff, these models can do decent out at this range, 200 hours. This is an incredible stratospheric polar vortex disruption here. Absolute split, absolute break, very likely a full wind reversal. Absolutely incredible. Now let's take a look at this. And let me try to get this. There you go. Our winds are already very slow. We should be up here somewhere, the stratosphere. These are our winds down here. Okay, we are very, very slow. The coldest air on the planet, as I always say, is in the North Pole, the northern hemisphere, up in the stratosphere. Our winds are moving very slowly. The slower the winds around the stratosphere act like a force field. If they're moving very quick, cold air can't escape. But when they start to slow down, that cold air is going to escape. The force field weakens. Let's take a look ahead. We're talking about from now all the way through into maybe mid-March. All the way through into maybe mid-March. Our winds aren't strong. We're not. This is just a long-lasting disruption. And as we were seeing there, if I go back here, once we get through the first week of March, we could just be seeing an absolute collapse. So this is significant. This is significant. This isn't the tropospheric polar vortex, like I said. This is the stratospheric polar vortex, and there's a lag with this. Now, originally, I was thinking, you know, listen, I've been saying it for a while. You guys know that March looks cold to me, especially for the plains and out east. The analogs look cold. We've been dealing with this disrupted stratospheric polar vortex for quite a while. This is kind of stretching out and extending, and it does look like maybe that coldest air is actually on the second half of March, which would be really interesting. Could we get a blockbuster snowstorm late into March, early into April? Maybe. It's pretty rare, obviously, for southern Ohio Valley, southeast, out towards the East Coast, towards the Atlantic, when we're starting to warm up, the ocean's starting to warm up, to get it that late. But everything is pointing towards major disruption. And I want to take a look at this as well. Where could that cold air be going? This is the European weeklies, and, you know, the weeklies don't always do great that far out, but they've been doing pretty good this winter. Here's a 500 millibar height anomaly 7-day. Say we do get this cold air moving in around this time frame, second to third week of March. Don't pay attention really to where these oranges and blues are. Pay attention to kind of the angle of the jet stream here. A little bit of troughing out west. Some energy down here. This looks like some energy potentially off the Pacific. Maybe a little bit of a subtropical jet kicking on. And we're favoring colder conditions likely up here in the upper Midwest, west out towards the Ohio Valley, out towards the east. I know we have what looks to be a little bit of a kind of ridge setting up out here, but really, again, take a look at the jet stream. Take a look at what's happening here. Take a look at the angle of it. Interesting setup for potentially something big as we push through March out here again. I think the next few weeks is going to confuse a lot of people in the Ohio Valley, out towards the, and obviously in the next 5 days, we could get a little bit more snow out towards New England, out towards the Mid-Atlantic. But then after that, everything's pointing towards weeks of warmth. And I think that's going to throw everyone off. And I think there's a big surprise coming mid to late March. And that surprise is going to be in the form of a kind of polar outbreak and very interesting snow placement, very heavy snow for someone out here, if not once, twice. It's a really good setup, and I find it interesting that we're going to have this big potentially thaw and warm up in the middle of it. I'm just saying, watch out for it. Trust me. Watch out for it. Really quickly, let's take a look at the next 7 to 10 days on the euro. I actually think the latest GFS is loading. We'll see how loaded that is. Right here, here's the latest GFS. Let's just push out as far as this goes right now. Obviously, as we move through tomorrow and Wednesday, we've got another kind of clipper system moving through portions of northern Minnesota, Wisconsin, through Michigan. We get maybe some good snow into Ohio, back into Pennsylvania, and then up into upstate New York. You can see New England. Now, this is going to put a little bit more snow down. Someone could end up getting a surprise 6+ inches out here along the mid-Atlantic New England coast on top of what you have, believe it or not, and some more cold air. So someone's going to end up getting a surprise snow there. Mountains of West Virginia could do pretty well here as well. Getting into late this week, into Thursday, another clipper tries to run through the northern plains, upper Midwest. We have some precipitation still falling out there in the Northwest. We're actually getting slammed up in Northern California and Oregon right now. But getting into late this week, what's happening here? Well, the GFS sees this isn't going to be what we just saw. This isn't going to be a bomb cyclone nor'easter once in a, century type system. But again, maybe another 6 inches to a foot surprise for someone. The GFS sees this, the Euro doesn't. We need a little bit more time. And you're like, why do we need more time? This is only 72 hours out. Shouldn't we know by now? This is one of those fast moving clippers that's really not, it's only forming because of this kind of baroclinic boundary that's forming here. It's hard to tell if there's going to be the moisture content there or not. So we'll see what happens with the 00Z European tonight. We're still not positive here. Go take a look at the Euro and doesn't see much. Right now, I'm actually kind of on the Euro side. I think we may be a little bit dry up here, if you want to know my opinion. If anything, maybe we get like a 1 to 4 inches through this area. But I don't think like the GFS. What's the latest GFS show us for snowfall there? Let's take a look. The latest GFS for snowfall with that system wants to bring, let's see. Yeah, okay, that's fine. I mean, 2 to 4 inches, if anything. But again, I think we may end up being too dry there. So let's go back to the European 18Z here. So we push into the weekend, another clipper system. We're just getting clipper after. This is the third clipper system in the next 5 to 6 days we could see. Through the upper Midwest again, this could be good for Minneapolis, Milwaukee, maybe Chicago, Detroit. And that one's pushing out back into New England again. So some more cold air, consistent snow up into this region here over the next week. But then it looks like we could get very, very warm. Okay, here's getting into early March. Obviously, the Euro and GFS see a major snowstorm up here. We'll talk about that's 200 hours out. We're not going to get into that precipitation yet. But you see this big warm up here. The 12's the Euro actually keeps it pretty cold out east still, but pretty warm. And then you can see here as we get towards the end of the run, just a lot of warmth begins to take over the plains and tries to push out towards the mid-Atlantic. Again, I showed you stratospheric polar vortex, what's going on with the winds, what's going on with our European weeklies, 500 millibar. I don't think this warmth is going to last, but what this does look like this time frame to me as we get into early March is potentially a lot of severe weather. You're getting a lot of warm and cold air interaction through the plains and out here through the Ohio Valley in the Midwest. This obviously looks extremely severe, but this is 250 hours out. So let's watch the first week of March, the first 10 days of March for severe weather. This would be significant severe weather right here through Tornado Alley, Dixie Alley. So if anything, a warm, severe start to March, second half of March, we may get back into winter, and it's going to confuse a lot of people. Those are my thoughts. Does anyone agree or does anyone disagree? All right, I'm gonna take questions here now. Morgan, Draper, that girl, Pearly, what's going on? What is popping? I wouldn't be mad with a few inches of snow in Tennessee, just no ice. How cold are we talking? We could be talking very cold. This right here, a full reversal of our stratospheric polar vortex, depending on what happens with this air and what's happening with our oscillations, we could be talking about 30 to 40 degrees below average air that pumps down into the States at the end of March. 30 to 40 degrees below what we should be. I would consider it an Arctic outbreak if that happens, obviously. Can Philly get more significant snow? Yeah, it can. I don't think it's going to get these couple snows that are moving through in the next week. I think any of that's going to be significant, but again, I think there's weirdly another shot. I wanted it to be beginning to middle March, could be middle to end of March with what's going on up in the stratosphere. How's it looking, Cincy? Let's take a look at the latest GFS. Although I'm kind of ignoring what it's doing in the mid-Atlantic here. Not impossible here. Not impossible, but just saying. Since you could see a little snow from this. Since you could see a little bit of snow from this. We'll see. Again, the European keeps us dry here. I haven't really taken a look at our temperature anomalies, but we can do that real quick. Let's do our temperature anomalies. We'll go to 12 0. Cold air continues to try to funnel up into the east. You see how you get this warm, cold, maybe a nice Arctic outbreak for the first couple days of March. I don't know if this is going to be as significant as the European shows here. I'll be honest with you. Some more warmth, another. I would call it an Arctic outbreak. These are temperatures 30 degrees below average, and then more warmth. So this is a very spring-like pattern here. We're going to get some severe weather. This really looks like we're going to have some severe weather through here in the beginning of March. It really does. Philly underperformed. Yeah, Philly's official total was just over 14 inches. I would call that an underperformance, but I don't think it's anything to be upset about. The National Weather Channel was telling you 5 to 8, like 24 to 48 hours before the storm, and then they put it to 8 to 12. And you overperformed the National Weather Service on the first one, and then you overperformed every single forecast from the National Weather Service in Philly. So what are you going by? You underperformed what I thought. I did think you'd push that 16 to 17 inches in Philly. You got close, 14 inches, but you definitely outperformed the Weather Channel. You definitely outperformed the Weather Channel. Which is interesting, because why isn't the Weather Channel using the National Weather Service? I think people were just looking at the app weird. They said it was supposed to start at 9. Okay, yeah, some of you were talking about, I mean, listen, a lot of people overperformed in the storm. But you always have underperformances and overperformances. I would say, as a whole, this storm overperformed. As an average, this storm overperformed. It overperformed as an average. And it validated a lot of what we saw. We saw 2 feet across New Jersey. We set all-time records across Long Island, portions of Long Island, ever in recorded history. Rhode Island, Providence, Rhode Island beat its previous record by almost a foot. Its previous record was like 27 inches or something like that, and it got 38 or something like that. Like Providence, Rhode Island shattered records. Portions of Massachusetts shattered records. Newark got 27 inches of snow. We saw the 5th snowiest New York City in history, about 20 inches into Central Park, 20 to 21 inches. But there are some people who underperformed. Baltimore was the big underperformer for me personally. DC ended up getting 2 or 3, but there was always a chance. Baltimore got in a little bit of a pocket. There was just some heavy snow to the northeast of Baltimore and some heavy snow to the southwest for quite a while. And I was watching it like, this is going to be bad. Baltimore, to me, was the biggest underperformer of the day. I know some people may have gotten way, way less, but Baltimore had a chance to still have a really great day. I wouldn't say Baltimore is always this strange outlier. People just get that in their head. Baltimore's had a good year. Baltimore's seen above average snow this year. But there was a little bit of a dry slot there. Let's see. Let's go into let me see if this is updated yet. Season to date snowfall accumulation. It looks like it might be. I mean, Baltimore's gotten, looks like somewhere between 16 to 20 inches this year. So they're above average snow. Baltimore's seen above average snowfall this year, and you're probably going to see a little bit more before the year's over. Philadelphia, of course, is above average snow. We're at 27 inches in Philadelphia. Lower Bucks County is at like 40 plus inches. New York City's at 40 plus inches. Long Island's at 40 to 50 inches on the season. Boston, we're at our average now, actually maybe slightly above it. Pretty much everyone out here is above average, and some of you are way above average. Everyone in the Mid-Atlantic is above average. I mean, DC's at almost 13 inches above average snowfall in the year, so it's been good. Yeah, I do think Baltimore really missed out on a chance for at least 10 to 12 inches there because of the way there was a band for a while that was sitting, you can see here, but there was a band for a while that was kind of sitting here, and there was a weak band, but still a band that was sitting closer to DC, and Baltimore was kind of getting screwed for a little bit there. Yeah, this no. This is the season total. This is the season total. We can see what happened here with the storm. This is actually not fully updated yet, though. So we need to wait for this to update. This is not the totals. So actually, we're probably going to see this continue to rise. This season of dates actually looks like it's probably a little bit behind. So I actually think your totals are actually higher through here. They definitely are. This is not added up yet all the way. That's not added up. Tomorrow we'll probably actually have these completely. Actually, you know what we should do right now too. Is this? Let's take a look at this. I don't know if this is going to be fully up to date, but here's your above average snowfall on the season and below average snowfall. And again, this is through February 23rd, but I think this is still updating a little bit. But there's your above average and your below average snowfall. So your average, see DC to Baltimore is average to slightly above average. So this is going to update a little bit. This whole area is going to update a little bit more, and it's going to put you into slightly above average, DC to Baltimore. And this whole area will update a tiny bit more here. So you'll be in like the light blue here, and then you'll be even darker blues into here. But pretty nice, pretty nice. New Jersey, I mean, New Jersey's had a fantastic year, and Long Island, and I know people. All I've heard from the last 2 years from people in New Jersey and Long Island is how it's never going to snow there again. Well, I'm happy for you guys. I'm happy for you guys. Here's a better way to look at this, and I think this more accurately shows DC to Baltimore. You're not below average. You're slightly above average snowfall there once this is all added up. But of course, Eastern PA, New Jersey, Long Island is really crushing it this year. I know it's been a while for big snow through here, but still doing pretty good. And through parts of the Ohio Valley, Midwest, I mean, the West is just struggling. Absolute struggle bus over there. Minnesota's starting to struggle. We're getting behind. We'll get a little bit more snow here soon, though. All right. It's never going to snow in Denver again. Yeah, it's been a bad year for Denver, but you know what? It happens. It happens. I hate to say it, but I kind of thought it was going to be a bad year for the West. I put average. I thought I put average, but I was trying to be nice. It was below average in my winter forecast. Do I think New York City will get over half a foot the rest of the season? Honestly, yeah, I do. Yeah, I do. I think you'll probably get at least another 6 inches on the season. Yeah. Kathy Coco, I appreciate you guys. Snow on Thursday for New York City. It's kind of I would say it's 60-40. I would say 60% chance no, 40% chance yes. I'm leaning you just get a dusting to maybe a half inch. Like not even an inch of snow. But obviously the latest GFS likes it. So what's our 12 what's our NAM thing? The NAM likes it too. The NAM and GFS like it. So the National Blend says 1.5 inches in New York City. And we're getting close, so it's definitely possible. My gut is just saying it's going to be a little dry. If you do get anything, it's not going to be much, but yeah. Any more snow in North Carolina, do you think? Funnily enough, I weirdly think I've said it before, I weirdly think we're going to have like an awkwardly late snowfall somewhere down in the southeast, especially with what's going on with our stratospheric polar vortex. I really feel like something's going to happen down here, like late in winter, like where people are like, what? Why is it snowing down here? I just do. I do. There's still a setup to get 30 to 40 degree below average temperatures down here, middle to late March, which, and our jet stream looks like it could be activated. Our subtropical jet looks like it could be pumping around that time frame too. So my brain is just telling me there's just a chance for something weird down here. I don't know if we're gonna get it down and like down here, or like, you know, I don't. Maybe it'll be up here. Maybe it'll be in here. But yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. Yeah. People forget that there's been plenty of major snowstorms down here in the southeast in March before. Even in late March in history, there's been big snowstorms down here in March. you know, it's just you have more memories of it being very hot once you get into March down there, because that's what's more likely to happen. But you do get, I'd say, like every 3 or 4 years, you get something that tries to develop, a snowstorm that tries to develop in the southeast in March. It sucks. All roads are fine in Philly, probably because no ice this time. Ice slows up. Yeah. The temperatures, too, after the snow fell, helped to melt the snow on the concrete pretty quick, I think. Maryland's probably done with major snow. I think you got a little bit more snow left, though. More snow in Connecticut? Very likely, yes. Maybe another decent snowstorm, yes. Yeah, our analogs over the next 14 days. Our analogs over the next 14 days actually really like the Northeast. We can take a look at the analogs real quick. Let's see. All right. Let's see. The 28th to the 3rd of March. This is our best analog. 28th to the 3rd of March. There's your target right now. So, interesting. Interesting, I think. Kind of continues as we push all the way out towards March 6th. New England. We'll watch New England. I think our precipitation's pretty interesting too, pushing out towards the second week. This is all the way out towards, into the second week of March. Our best precipitation, top 5 precipitation analogs. And I think this is going to be severe weather. I think there's going to be a lot of severe weather in here. Potential for flooding. These are our analogs. Starting off March. The dry air here, too, is likely going to be associated with cold. So cold, dry air against warm, moist air. You know what that means. You know what that means. Twisty boys. Our GFS is still loading in. Let's get it refreshed. Here we go. Yeah. Oh, wow. Look at this. Yeah, the GFS is doing some interesting things right now. Let's take a look at the latest. Look at the GFS. North Carolina done with snow, right? Like I said, I think there's a chance someone down there, whether it be northern Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, northern South Carolina, North Carolina, Tennessee, someone down there in the southeast, I think, is going to get a late snow. We're going to get a big push of Arctic air, and I think we'll have a good subtropical jet as we push through March. It's just a gut feeling. I don't know. I've been looking at this stuff. Kentucky Mom, I appreciate you. NTX, what's going on? Is Euro AI still the best performing model for this year? GFS seemed to nail it. Yeah, but the GFS did really good in the beginning of the year and then sucked all through January, basically, in the beginning of February. Yeah, but Euro AI probably is still the best. Yeah, the GFS had a legendary run there. It saw the storm 5 days out and didn't even move the whole time. It kept confidence, and that's what happened. What does our European AI ahead think? Let's see. Nothing interesting. Yeah, I'm really interested to see what happens as this GFS continues to load. We'll watch it together. Early summer. I mean, that would mean I don't think so, because we're going to be in an end zone neutral, so I think it's going to be a long spring. At least severe weather-wise. Yeah, GFS usually wild. Yeah, but people forget it's still a top 2 or top 3 global model. So like, even though people make fun of the GFS, it's still top 2, top 3 global model. I mean, typically the GFS outperforms the Icon and the Canadian. So, I mean, It's why people usually talk about the GFS and the Euro. But again, the GFS does a lot of things better, in my opinion, during spring. It sees storms further out in a hurricane season. Doesn't do as well in the short-term forecasting for hurricanes, but it can sniff out a hurricane 2 weeks out, like the Euro never can. And the GFS has its advantages. I think it performs better near the equator in the subtropics, and the Euro performs better up in the mid latitudes and with cold air temperatures. We had an EF4 last year. I'm good on the severe spring. Yeah, I bet you are. Yeah. I think Kentucky's an interesting place to be in March based on what our analogs are showing for precipitation. Hard to tell if they want that to be severe weather or not, but we'll see. The Ohio Valley looks to be a spot to watch. Is Houston safe from freeze? It's really hard to get freezing in Houston once you get into March. You could still get freezing down towards the southeast, but southern Texas gets pretty difficult once you get into March. Maybe dumb question, but Euro versus Euro AI, assuming one's just using artificial intelligence. Yeah, the Euro AI is training off of the Euro, so they typically do the same thing. They typically move the same way and have similar forecasts, but every now and then they don't. The Euro has an algorithm that's very good, and the data is put into the algorithm, and then it spits out a bunch of members, and it picks which member is the best, likely to be the best member, and that's your operation or control run that we look at. The Euro AI doesn't take the data and put it into an algorithm and spit anything out. The Euro AI takes a look at what the Euro is doing, what the Euro thinks it's going to do, and then looks back in history and says, it kind of operates off of like the European model's analogs. It says, okay, the last time we had conditions like this, the Euro thought this was going to happen, but this actually happened. So I'm going to disagree with the Euro, and I'm going to it's learning off of the Euro's mistakes. It's not actually direct data input, I don't think, into the Euro AI model. It's trying to fine tune and fix the Euro each time, based off of how it's performed in the past and the decisions it's made that's been wrong. So the Euro AI is actually, it's like that saying, standing on the shoulder of giants. It's kind of like cheating a little bit. It's kind of like standing on the Euro's shoulders and being like, okay, yeah, now I think this is going to happen. It's using the Euro. But so it should always be a little bit like on the season average, it should be more accurate than the Euro, which is good because you want it to get more accurate. But the Euro AI is still learning. This is a very new model. I mean, this is the first winter where we're ever actually like really using the Euro AI. It's going to get better and better. Just needs more time. Is anything happening with DC this or next week? I mean, look, you got chance for some snowfall. The GFS thinks you could get a few inches. I don't think so. I think you'll get rain or it'll be dry. You'll probably get some rain. Or a little mix. I might be pretty. It's hard to tell. I just don't think there's going to be this much moisture here. Maybe a light mix. And then you dry up. Just going to try to get some flakes on Wednesday through DC2. We'll see. But then you get into the weekend and you dry up and you're kind of average to above average temperatures. Not much is happening there in the early next week as well. Wait, GFS looking like another... Oh, yeah, I know. There you go. There's the GFS putting another big snowstorm into the mid-Atlantic. March 3rd, 180 hours out. You guys think it's going to get it right again? I'm not so sure about this one. Peacocks, I appreciate that. Thank you for the follows, guys. Chicago, any hope for snow? Yeah, we've got a nice clipper roulette coming through here. That one's probably going to miss you to the north. We'll see what happens with the second clipper. You get third clipper here that's going to try to put snow into Chicago. That's probably your best chance this weekend, Saturday into Sunday. And then you get another storm here. Maybe this is a little bit further north. So the 6 to 10 day time frame could be interesting for Chicago for a couple. There's 1, 2, 3 shots. 1, 2, 3 shots for Chicago there. So maybe you'll get them all. Maybe you'll get one, but the pattern is putting some snow through Chicago coming up. Any snow from Minneapolis? Same type of thing. We're going to have some opportunities here. This clipper could overperform. We could get another one of these moving through. You've got your, you can see where like your Bear Clinic boundary setting up where your 540 line is. We're going to try to get for a little bit here snowstorms, clippers through here, maybe up here. So not a bad place to be if you want snow. In here, not a bad place to be. No major snowstorms in the immediate future, though. But for anyone who missed it, we're probably going to get very warm as we move into the end of February, early March. But this is what's ahead. And this is what a lot of models are agreeing on. And this would be a complete collapse, likely wind reversal of our stratospheric polar vortex. And again, you take a look at what's already going on with our SPV. And oh my gosh, your stratospheric polar vortex wind should be up here. This is when you have that strong wind force field not allowing the cold air on the planet out. We're already disrupted, and it's going to get worse and worse and worse. And we're going to get it's almost guaranteed we're going to get an extreme Arctic blast sometime in March, mid to late March. And right now, based on the European and GEFS weeklies, it looks like that dump is going to be into the plains out through the Ohio Valley and out east again. But we could see that shift. Maybe it pushes a little bit further out west. But that's what I'm telling you. People are going to think winter is over. People are going to be like out at the beach. I think on Long Island, I think New Jersey Beach could hit like 75 degrees in early March, 76 degrees, have a beautiful day. And then I think you're going to have a major Arctic blast as we get into mid to late March, and you could get more snow. It's going to be deceiving. I expect March to piss some people off. I do. Mid-March, yeah. Mid-March court. Lacrosse. Kind of same thing for you guys. You're gonna get a thaw. You're gonna get a thaw ahead. Not over the next 5, 6, 7 days. You're gonna stay a little bit. I said it. You're gonna stay a little bit cooler, but exiting February, entering March, it's gonna get very warm for a lot of people. We're gonna probably see a lot of severe weather in the first couple of weeks over probably especially Ohio Valley, Dixie Alley. Probably gonna see a lot of severe weather here to start off March. We get towards middle March and towards the end of March, and we might see a big dump of cold air and surprise snow. Big snowstorm out here across the east. That's my guess. And then we'll finally transition fully into spring severe season. That's my guess of how this plays out. I really need to put out my March forecast. I didn't make it. I've just been so busy. Yeah, I mean, we're going to be we already have ENSO neutral conditions in the ENSO 3.4 region of the Pacific. So ENSO neutrals are typically very, very active. Severe weather seasons, springs, tornado seasons. So 7-day temperature change. Look at our Niño 3.4. Look at that. This is our Niño 3.4. It's on fire. It's on fire. Oh my gosh. This is probably going to, yeah, look at this. We're heading for the moon now. We're heading for the moon, boys. We are in ENSO neutral conditions. We are not in an ENSO neutral. To turn into an ENSO neutral or to switch over into an ENSO neutral, we need ENSO neutral conditions to sustain for at least 3 months. So clock it here, mid-February. So probably as we move through May, we'll be in an official ENSO neutral. So, but weak La Nina, ENSO neutral. This is typically an extra severe weather season. And then I think, yeah, as we get into, hurricane season is going to be ENSO neutral to El Nino. It could still be a good hurricane season if we're not fully transitioned in El Nino, which we're not going to be. But next winter is probably going to be, I think we're going to have a moderate to strong El Nino, which means cooler conditions for the south and possibly above average snowfall for the southern tier states. Maybe some warm conditions up north. Warmer than normal. Do I think New York City gets snow next Tuesday? I'm not buying it. Yeah, I wouldn't really pay attention 160 plus hours out yet. If this is still showing up 3 days from now, we'll talk about it. If this is still showing up, we'll say Thursday, we'll talk about it. We'll get real serious about it. But that range on the GFS, even though it just did do very good, typically isn't too much to look at. Do you know there is a Category 5 cyclone in the Indian Ocean? Yeah, I saw that. What's going on? This one? Yeah, what's going on? Why? Why? Why is it there? I know, very confusing, but kind of cool. Do we even have a track for it? Looks like it's not supposed to affect anyone, which is great. There you go. It's just going to wobble around in a weekend, so. Still impressive, though. It's going to cut off some shipping lanes for a little bit. That's probably the most it's going to do. No, I think Maryland gets a little bit more snow this season. I don't think major snow, but a little bit more snow. Yarn, I appreciate you. Why are we doing that? Long Island not getting any snow for the rest of the year is like the chance aliens take you to another planet. Yeah, Flow Money. I almost agree with you. Like, I think the odds of Long Island not getting at least 6+ inches, at a minimum of 6+ inches more this year, is probably pretty low. It does look like we're going to get more snow out there. A few times. How's the weather in New York City this weekend? Looks like it's going to be not too bad. Let's take a look at our temperature anomalies. As we get into Friday evening. It's below average. Saturday, below average to average. Sunday, you get a little bit of a warm up. It's slightly below average to slightly above average this weekend. Sunday night, it gets really cold, potentially in New York City. What's it looking like precipitation-wise? As we get into Friday night, we're dry. Saturday, we're dry. So Sunday, we'll see. Friday and Saturday look nice. In New York City. Sunday, we could start to cool down and maybe get a storm through. You got 20 inches of snow yesterday? Nice. Why was Baltimore a bust? Well, Baltimore didn't get 0 inches of snow. Baltimore recorded, 2 to 3 inches of snow? I was just looking at it. It was a bust because of the way some of the bands set up. We talked about this earlier. That's just what happens. There's a lot of people who overperformed, but there's also a lot of people who underperformed. That's pretty typical to see. Baltimore, and I said this when I started my live, Baltimore was actually in my opinion, was the biggest letdown. There were areas that had bigger underperformances. There were areas, obviously, that had big overperformances. But Baltimore, to me, had a real good chance. We're seeing, you could see Baltimore Metro, we have 5 inches recorded, 4.5 inches recorded, 4 inches recorded, 4 inches recorded. But you get down towards actual city proper, you got like 2 to 2.5 inches recorded, 3 inches. So, yeah, again, though, you go just a little north here. Oh, sorry, you guys can't see. You go just a little north here, and so you go just a little north of Baltimore here, and we're recording 5 to 6 inches. There's Baltimore right there. You also go a little bit south of Baltimore, and what are we recording here? 5 to 6 inches. So we're seeing 4 to 6. Sorry, we're seeing 4 to 6 here. We're seeing 4 to 6 inches here, and then we're seeing like 2 to 3 in the middle. You really missed out on some of this banding here. They got a few more inches here and a few more inches here than in Baltimore. That's just how it works out sometimes. And then right across the bridge here on the other side of Maryland, we're seeing a foot of snow in some areas. And of course out here, 20 inches. Philly could have seen, Philly did okay. 14 inches is the official report. You see 11 into the actual city, but that's because it's because of the melt in the city. It melts quickly as it's fallen too. But 14 inches in the Philadelphia International Airport. Look across the bridge. 18-inch report. 15, 16, 17 inches reported right across the bridge from Philadelphia. We actually had a really nice band that was set up just to the east of Philadelphia for quite a while. I was watching it. We had a really nice band that was set up kind of like this. And you can kind of see where it dumped. And Philly, the actual downtown Philly, was probably 2 miles to the west of this 2 to 3 inch an hour rate of snowfall that was falling right here. So Philly did come, Philly came within like a mile and a half of getting an additional 6 inches on top of what they got. And Philly could have tried to approach that 18-inch, 19-inch mark. Funny enough, I'd say that coastal New Jersey kind of underperformed. And it's like, well, they got 2 feet of snow. Everyone in here got almost 2 feet of snow, but still, we were thinking 30 plus inches here. Obviously, Long Island had some huge overperformances. There's 30 inches on the Long Island right there. We set all-time records in here. All-time in recorded history records. Of course, Rhode Island didn't just set records. Rhode Island obliterated records. Rhode Island absolutely obliterated records. We have some... Where's our 37.9 inch? Yeah, 37.9 inches in the Rhode Island. Where's that one? Somewhere around here. We actually had someone report just over 40 somewhere in Long Island, so that's pretty crazy. 30 inches, eastern Massachusetts overperformed. Delaware overperformed, I'd say. We're looking at 16 to 20 inches in here. It's pretty crazy. Am I live tomorrow? Potentially. Yeah, I'm live tonight because I won't be able to post a video tomorrow morning, so I wanted to do a quick live. When will it warm up for an extended period of time in Indy? Probably the first couple weeks of March will be very warm, but you could probably get a nice Arctic blast as we move into the end of March, or at least into the 3rd week. That's what it looks like right now. So yeah, I would call it extended warmth that's coming for much of the country, but it's not our last major cold blast of winter. Let's take a look. The GFS is a little bit more loaded here. Yeah, we're just getting warm at the end here, like we're expecting towards March 4th. Yeah, Connecticut has another couple good shots of snow over the next 10 days. It depends. Listen, it depends how you look at it. It depends how you look at it because the local news in Philly was telling you 8 inches. Philadelphia got 14 inches of snow. So were you looking at the local news? Or in the National Weather Service right before the storm moved in, lowered Philly's expected totals to about 17 inches. You guys, Philadelphia, I would go off of the airport. Obviously, there's going to be different totals in the city, but I lived in Philly. The airport is right there. Listen, all I know is Philadelphia is almost a foot over their average snowfall for the year. So I don't think anyone needs to be upset in Philly over 12 to 14 inches of snow. Remember someone told me, they were like, now they're saying 9 to 12 inches into Philly. Or 8 to 12. And I said, if Philadelphia gets 8 inches of snow, I will sell all of my streaming equipment. Well, luckily, that didn't happen. Yeah. Where I used to live, where I lived under a year ago, Levittown, just to the northeast of Philly, they got about 20 inches of snow. 21 inches of snow. Right up 95. This area right across the bridge out towards Cherry Hill, just to the south of Cherry Hill, we're talking about distance-wise, like not on a road, but if you actually did distance-wise, like 3 miles from Philly, got 18 inches of snow. Yes, I did in Levittown. Yeah, Levittown did good. Levittown did good. What do you think about the beginning of March snow in the Hudson Valley? We'll see. Listen, if this happens, it's going to be big snow for you guys. But again, I'm not going to talk about 160 plus hours out on the GFS quite yet, even though it did just perform very good. Yeah. Staten Island broke records, I believe. Yeah, there were records broken all over Long Island. And I think what did Newark get? Newark, I believe, reported 27 inches of snow. There's a 30-inch right there in Newark. 30 inches of snow. I didn't even realize it got over there. This is Lyndhurst. Lyndhurst reported 31 inches of snow. Anyone live over there? What's this? Newark Airport reported 27.2 inches of snow. Overperformance. GFS not twice. Look at these airport reportings. It's insane. John F. Kennedy reported over 20 inches of snow. LaGuardia reported over 22 inches of snow. Do you think it'll trend colder for Maryland and get all snow? No, I don't think so. With this upcoming storm now. Palmer, I appreciate you. Hit GFS to good because it shows a monster storm for like every storm, and this one happened to be one. Well, I wouldn't say that's true. The GFS doesn't always show a monster storm, but when it does show it, it goes hard in the paint. It tries to, tries to really amplify it. Yeah, it gets a little too aggressive. But yeah, that's why people say a broken clock's right twice a day. But the GFS had a good start to winter. The GFS was doing good in December and to start January, and then just got bad for a little bit. It was really horrible at the end of January into early February. I mean, it was just seeing everything wrong. What can I say about the Midwest? Well, we got a lot of clippers moving through here over the next 2 weeks. And then we might even get, if we're talking about southern Midwest, towards the Ohio Valley region, I think we're going to be watching severe weather in the beginning of March. We got a nice warm-up, though, for much of us starting March. Okay, guys, I'm going to get off because I have to get up super early in the morning. Super early in the morning to get into the office. Got a ton of work to do. I will get up and I will update the Discord tomorrow with all the latest snowfall totals, temperature outlooks, severe weather outlooks. So if you're new in here and you want to look at all the maps we look at in here and get all the updates on the stratospheric polar vortex and everything going on, I updated all my Discord every day. A link to my Discord is right down in the description of all my YouTube videos. Or you can just add Connor's Climate Corner on Discord. Mods, I appreciate you. Anyone who followed, subbed, I appreciate you. Everyone being in here, helping the algorithm, supporting the channel, I appreciate you guys. Yeah, I wanted to make sure I got on tonight because I probably won't be posting a video tomorrow. I should be able to get a good detailed video in on Wednesday. And I want to because there is some interesting snow setups here still ahead in the short term, 7 to 10 days. We got to talk about that. So Wednesday morning, I'll probably have to do a detailed video on that. I do expect to stream tomorrow night too, though. So hopefully closer to 8:30. I don't like getting on this late. I like getting 8:30 Central Time. I don't like getting on this late. All right. I appreciate all you. Like I said, I'll update the Discord tomorrow before I go to work, so it all should be updated pretty darn early, maybe like 7:30 in the morning, 8:30 Eastern. Expect another live stream tomorrow and expect a full video on Wednesday morning. All right. I appreciate all you. Everyone have a great night. And again, stratospheric polar vortex. Pay attention to it. The end of March looks freezing. The beginning of March looks warm. And we could be watching some severe weather. That's kind of what seems like it's ahead right now. The outlook.